in this lineup, is
Right.
he still a striker when Robbie Keane comes back?
See, this gets into everything that really scares me about what happens when Robbie Keane comes back. Is what do you do whenever you switch people around? Because here's the problem: if you make Gyasi Zardes a winger again, all right, and you have Keane and Giovanni Dos Santos paired up top together, then you're also having to exclude either Mike Magee, Sebastian Lletget, or Ima Boateng. So you start to shuffle those.
It's not Boateng's position. It's
I
not.
don't think it is, and I agree with you. Even
It's
with his
Leget's position. So the question becomes Magee, Dos Santos, Zardes, or Leggett. Who comes off for Robbie Keane? And I don't know what the answer to that is just yet. It's not who Stitch. People are gonna say, "Oh, Baju Stitch." No, that is Nigel de Jong's position.
absolutely. Yeah, that's not. I don't think that's an argument.
That's not an option. That's off the table.
Yeah, that comes in. No, but you look at the other ones and what those options are, and you see how well like Dos Santos play, or excuse me, see how well Gerrard has played in the last 180 minutes in this particular formation and everything that's going on there. So it hurts me to start tweaking this formation the way it is right now. I just want to see it. I think you're going to see it again against Kansas City. So I think that's going to work. All right, but it's...
Well, one of the reasons this has worked for Dos Santos so well is because Gyasi Zardes is attempting to stretch the field.
Right.
So you could say, oh, McGee's the odd man out. And that's probably the right answer because he's older, he's coming off a few injuries, he's not going to be able to play this many minutes over the course of the season. That's the easy decision to make. You lose something in leadership in just the opportunities that he creates, but I think that's the call. And then you may think, okay, you move Zardes back to midfield and you put Robbie Keane up front in front of Giovanni Dos Santos.
Right.
But who's stretching the field then?
Yeah, no.
Because Robbie Keane wants to fall into that space. Giovanni Dos Santos wants to hover in that space. The reason Dos Santos has done so well over the last few games is Gyasi Zardes has done a good job stretching the back four, pushing them further out, creating more space in midfield for Dos Santos to operate in underneath. And Keane did the same thing with Zardes last season and the previous season to that as well.
Right.
So you need someone doing that work. So it's not as easy as saying McGee, pull him out and putting Zardes back because then you're compressing the field essentially.
Yeah, and that has been all the issues. It's always been my thing. If you're gonna do that, if you're gonna play Robbie Keane and Giovanni Dos Santos, then you have to move Dos Santos out to the wing. Which, if you look at how he's playing right now, do you really want to do that? And,
or you have to play a different style, okay? Then they have to go to a much more possession-based, give and go, tight space passing kind of offense and unlock defenses that way.
Right.
Currently, what's been working for them is Zardes stretches the field. Giovanni falls into that space. They're finding through balls and they're finding nice little incisions into the back four that way.
Right.
Or they're distributing to the wing and doing it that way. If you take Zardes out of that role and you have Keane and Dos Santos operating there, it can work, but you're gonna have you have to have a lot more tight touching passing, and that's a harder way to unlock a defense. It's definitely more creative, but it's easier to unlock a defense through that nice incision and stretching the defense. It's not as elegant, but it works, and it works in MLS pretty consistently.
Yeah, and so that's what's going to see in this game in particular. You had obviously Emmanuel Boateng with a goal and 2 assists. He gets MLS Player of the Week. He's going to be coming up on the show here in the middle segment, so you're going to want to stick around for that. But the real deal here is that you had 5 different goal scorers. You terrorized Real Salt Lake, who had already sort of got kicked in the pants. Bruce Arena actually said that he thought Nick Rimando had a good first half, and he said that knowing that the LA Galaxy scored 4 goals on him. With the 3 goals the Galaxy probably should have scored to start with. Dos Santos hit the post, Mike Magee should have scored, and then Gerrard on the penalty kick. Luckily for everybody, the Gerrard penalty kick means nothing, and it's Nick Rimando who has saved 5 out of the last 10 LA Galaxy penalty kicks. He's
so hard not to love Nick Rimando. I mean, first of all, he's IE born and bred.
Yes.
So I got a special place in my heart for Nick Rimando, the pride of Montclair High School.
Right.
And I root for Nick Rimando. I'm not gonna lie. Galaxy come up to take that kick. Part of me is rooting for Nick Rimando to save it, just because I love the legend of Rimando.
Right. No.
It's amazing to watch. You're watching a specialist do something that is so incredibly hard.
Yep.
And he does it over and over again at the age he is now,
Mm-hmm.
at the size he is. And it's just like, how do you not want to root for that guy, even when it's your team at the spot?
No, it's I knew it. He's one of those people who makes you look good whenever you sit there in the press box and you go, "Hey, Raimondo's probably going to block this," right? I mean, just
come on. That's anyone can say that.
50-50.
Anyone with a half a brain about soccer knows to say that.
50-50.
But if you're sitting with your buddy that doesn't know anything about the game, it makes you look smart.
He does, and that is really what we've seen from Nick Raimondo.
Let's be honest, half the people in that press box probably don't know what they're doing.
I would say that's probably a fair assumption. Overall.
I mean, what I mean by that is some people are there covering for newspapers and they have the soccer assignments.
Yeah, and so you don't get
because they like the game. There's plenty of people there that are passionate about it and know what they're talking about. But every once in a while, there's a couple guys up there, not just in this one, in most press boxes, that are just having to cover soccer.
Well, yeah, of course.
They got the short end of the support straw.
Of course, because you have to get, you get newspaper writers, and obviously everybody knows they're downsizing, and they have many sports to cover. They'll have to cover high school, football the day before, and then come cover the LA Galaxy, and that's tough to do. So you understand that.
My favorite thing I think ever in my quote-unquote career of covering soccer is sitting at MLS Cup 2013 or 2014 and sitting next to Victor Brick Jacobs.
2014 for you.
Yeah, and explaining to him kind of what don't get me wrong, he had an idea what was going on with soccer, but he was admittedly uninformed about what was going on this season with the Galaxy and stuff like that. And it was just so amazing to me to sit for an hour and a half with Victor Brick Jacobs and just talk soccer. And he was so open about wanting to talk about it, and just he was keen to learn.
Right.
And it's just I feel like that isn't the way a lot of sports press cover soccer, being keen to learn about it.
Right.
And it was such a cool thing. So all you LA sports fans know that Victor Brick has got your back, and he is an amazing guy in person, and his poncho is just as amazing in person as well.
Yeah, that's right. You were sitting next to Vic the Brick, and I saw that picture whenever you did it, and you're like, this is pretty cool. You were in the we call it the auxiliary press box. You were over in the corner of StubHub Center.
I'd be anywhere with Victor Brick. I'd watch the game from a bathroom with Victor Brick.
It'd probably be entertaining. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I mean,
feeling you in that bathroom.
Feeling you. Yeah, that is kind of fun. No, it's fun to see that, and I wish everybody sort of had that. That take is to learn about it whenever you're up there. But quite honestly, I'm not a press box snob. I'm not going to sit there and yell at you because you don't know what you're talking about, unless you pretend to know what you're talking about. And then it's like, okay. Calm down a little bit. But yeah, listen, this game was great. I don't want to keep going off sidetrack. I know lots of people have already talked about it. It was a 5-2 win, 5 goals. Steven Gerrard gets on the board. Giovanni Dos Santos with the chip goal that reminded everybody of the 2011 Gold Cup. The Gold Cup goal was better. All right, there's no doubt. But can I say this, Jared? It was nice to not have it go against you this time. Not that I'm always rooting for the Galaxy.
No, but the reason why Galaxy fans should be excited about that goal, because that's Giovanni playing purely on instinct.
Yeah.
And when you have a player like that, that's different than a lot of the players you watch play this game, where it's calculated.
Right.
Giovanni is a designated player in this league for the LA Galaxy for his instincts, and he has not looked like he was playing to those instincts for the first 6 months with this team. Over the last 2 games, you're seeing that come out now. The first touch on the Steven Gerrard pass in Houston, that was instinct. The chip, just feeling where the keeper was, feeling where the back post is.
Right.
That is why Giovanni is being paid the big dollars. And it is incredibly nice to see him actually paying off on that investment, at least in the short term. Now the question is, how do you keep that going for him?
Yeah, it's going to be maybe not taking him out of the position that he's in, but are you going to not play Robbie? Again, it goes in circles. There's no answer until Bruce makes a decision on this, because quite honestly, I don't know who. I know fans are going to say you bench Keane because Dos Santos is hot and you don't want to do that and you don't want to screw up the offense and the way it's going. But let's be realistic. You're not going to
captain.
You can't bench Robbie Keane.
You can. It's just like if it doesn't go right. I mean, you look like a.
Yeah, you wouldn't look good. I agree with that.
I wouldn't say that any of those words to Bruce Arena's face, so I shouldn't say it here.
Yes, we try to do that. If anything you say, I may have to answer for. Not that Bruce knows who I am. Actually, he does. He thinks my name is John Guzman.
Jonathan Guessman.
John Guzman. So yeah. But
that's the first Latino cred you've ever gotten.
I know, and I actually wear it with a badge of honor. I'm quite happy. If that's who he thinks I am, I'm fine with that. So we'll roll with that, absolutely. But you know what we should do is we should go ahead and take a break. Whenever we get back, what we're going to do is talk about, I'm going to talk to Emmanuel Boateng Again, MLS Player of the Week. He has a really interesting story as well, so there's a lot more still to come on Corner of the Galaxy. Next up, Emmanuel Boateng. I think we got some of the audio issues fixed with the live stream, so I apologize for that. Hope you hang in there. We're still learning how to run this whole thing, all right? So don't go anywhere. You're listening to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com. All right, everybody, what we did was I talked to Emmanuel Boateng before the show, and so now I'm going to replay that interview. So if you give me just a second here, we'll rock and roll that interview for you. Emmanuel Boateng, Ema, is great. Honestly, could have talked to him for a really long time, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me get it cut up and sent to you guys, and we'll rock and roll. Again, apologize for the audio issues. Still learning how to do this very slowly, it seems like sometimes. All right, so just 2 seconds here, and you're going to be hearing Emmanuel Boateng.
Recording from COG Studios and Not Their Mom's Basement, it's Corner of the Galaxy.
Welcome back to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com. I'm your host, Josh Guessman. Jared Dubois going to take a little segment off here as I get ready to do one of my favorite things, which is getting to talk to people with great stories. And our guest today has come from a very long ways to end up with the LA Galaxy, from Ghana to Sweden and now to the City of Angels. Please welcome to the show for the very first time, LA Galaxy midfielder Emmanuel Boateng. Ema, thanks for stopping by.
All right, thanks for having me, guys.
No,
it's nice to get on here.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. Let's start at the beginning. Your journey to playing for the LA Galaxy doesn't seem simple or easy, or it's actually miraculous when you start looking at it. You started out in Ghana, and now you're in Los Angeles playing for LA. Have you stopped to think about how you got here and how much work that took?
Yeah, every once in a while I think about it, and, I pinch myself. It's been a crazy journey from where I started in Kumasi in Ghana to where I'm at right now. But, I also see it as, the work that I put in every day, that's paying off. So I got to keep on working every day and stay determined to push on to help the team every chance I get. So it's been a crazy journey, but I think a lot of people have helped me during the way, and I've worked hard also to get here.
Yeah, no, it seems that way. Do you still have family back in Ghana?
Yes, I do. Both my parents are there, and my younger sister is there, and a bunch of friends that I still keep in touch with everyone in Ghana.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do they think of you now playing for the LA Galaxy? That has to be, as much as it is probably, a surprise or a blessing to you, it has to seem maybe doubly so for them, not being directly involved on the field, working as hard as you were every time.
Yeah, my parents are really proud, and, they let me hear about it every time. They follow the team, and they know about what's going on with the club every time. So they're all very happy for me, and yeah, like you said, no one could have dreamt of this, years ago, but it's all come together pretty nice, and everyone is really excited for me.
Yeah, I'm sure. Before you even came to the LA Galaxy, you went to play in the Swedish First Division with Helsingborgs, making 37 appearances and scoring 4 times. What was your time like in Sweden?
It was good. It was very good. I thought it was a good challenge for me, living in Ghana and, coming here for high school in Santa Barbara and all that. I thought it was, a cool new experience to move over to a new country and, just learn how the game works there and different culture, everything. So definitely a cool experience. And on the field, there were some good moments and some bad moments that I learned from that has made my game even better now. So it was a positive experience, and I enjoyed my time in Sweden a lot.
Yeah, we talk about you said going to high school in Santa Barbara. You played college at for the Gauchos up at UC Santa Barbara. Outside of Ghana, you kind of are a California kid, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, went to high school there and I matured a lot in Santa Barbara. Yeah, definitely for sure a Ghanaian kid, but Santa Barbara is also part of my home because when I came. The host family that I lived with too in Santa Barbara were really nice. The Schwartz family brought me in as a family, and they still come to every one of my games. The grandparents, the cousins, everybody just comes on and support me, and yeah, it was a blessing to get to know them. And yeah, so Santa Barbara is a city that I know pretty well, and I absolutely love going there to visit every time.
I'm sure. Whenever you were in Sweden, when did you first learn that the LA Galaxy were interested in possibly bringing you to the team?
It was the end of the season, so Sweden we ended around early October,
Mm-hmm.
and about within the 2 weeks after that, my agent told me the Galaxy are interested, and there's a possibility that it could happen. And I was already booked my flight to come here for the winter break. So I came here, I think, end of November, and the talks were still going on. And I met Bruce on New Year's, just talking about where he sees me fitting in the plans, and why he wants me on the team, and how I'll fit on the team. So after that interview, we just 2 days after that, everything got said, and we made the deal happen. So it was end of October, early October, and it just carried on all the way to the New Year's. And after that meeting, I knew everything was set, and I was excited to come play for the Galaxy.
Yeah, how is Bruce Arena's sales pitch to younger players? What did he say to you that convinced you that LA was possibly a place that you could call home?
He just told me if I come in and work hard, he's the same guy that has, took London Dunivant and Marcus Beasley and put them in the World Cup team when they were really young and no one, not a lot of people wanted them on the team. And he did the same with Arturo, a young guy when he was at Red Bull, helping him, getting the team when he was working hard. So it's all thing that told me you come in and you do well and the players like you and, you complement each other on the field and you're helping us and you're working hard, there's no chance you're going to get your opportunities. And if you get your opportunities, it's up to you to take it. So, he just basically left it up to me. It's going to be a challenge because we have a lot of great players and now you have to work for your players. And if you work and you deserve it, I'll give you the shot. And that's all that I needed,
Yeah.
To put in the work and, the reward coming is, the best feeling ever. So as soon as I heard that, he wasn't telling me anything is guaranteed. I have to work for everything, and that excited me more in that meeting.
Well, speaking of taking
and it didn't have to be a big pitch. I already knew so much about the Galaxy that I was really excited to come in the first place.
Well, yeah, that is one of the advantages I think of being the LA Galaxy. But you talk about taking advantages. If you get an opportunity to play and take advantage, Sebastian Lletget goes down with a groin injury late last week. You come in and all you do is score your first Major League Soccer goal, score 2 assists, one of them your first Major League Soccer assist, and of course you win MLS Player of the Week. Talk about your performance last week. Was that unexpected by you, or did you expect to go out there and play that well?
I expected to get on the field and make a change, one way or the other. If it was going to be, 1-1 in the 80th minute and have a space for us to score 2-1 or, score a goal in the 80th minute or the 90th. I just wanted to go out there and make an impact,
Right.
Just do something to help change the game. And it just happened to be in the first half, just explode and, try and create chances for the team. So it wasn't too much of a surprise or anything like that because we've been doing all that work since preseason, trying to bring everything together. So it was nice to see everything come together. And it wasn't just me. It was just, the guys putting the balls in places that I could reach and, just making me look good, giving me nice passes and, trying to find me every time we had the ball. So definitely the bigger praises goes to my teammates for putting me in the right positions for sure.
We're talking with LA Galaxy midfielder Emmanuel Boateng. Had a great week last week, as we were just talking about. Emma, do you think people underestimate you because of your size? Even Jeff Cassar last week said that they were sort of prepared for Sebastian Lletget. You came in, added a completely different dimension, really surprised them, and he credited you with one of the reasons that RSL had very little success against the LA Galaxy. Do you think you are looked at because you're small that you can't have a big effect on the game?
I think I have something that, not a lot of players also have, that is, my speed.
Right.
And so, people can look about the size and everything, but there's been a lot of players that have, done really well in the, the world of soccer that are not, that big. It's just about you making decisions when you're on the ball and off the ball, and just every time you have it, try to outsmart your opponent. So it's not a basketball game. I don't need to be 6'8", whatever to play.
Right.
So I just see it as it's just something that I don't have in terms of the height, but I'm pretty strong when it comes to 50-50 balls. I'm not scared to get in, and when we put the ball on the field, it's just going to be, who gets to the ball first and takes it, and I think I have that. So there's, if there's people are going to look at the size and all that, I also look at the speed, and I make sure it's shown every time I'm on the field.
It makes some sense, absolutely. LA won its last road game, something it hasn't done very much of in the last couple of years. How focused is the entire team on continuing that winning streak whenever you guys face off against Sporting Kansas City in KC this weekend?
Yeah, I think the team is we've gotten a little bit of momentum. Everyone is excited. Everyone comes in with a smile on their face and get on the field, and it's fun. Playing with this group, everyone's trying to work and help each other. So we're very confident in going to the next game. Not going to take anything lightly. Kansas City haven't gotten the results that they needed their last couple of games, but that doesn't mean we should drop down. We're going in and attack it the same way we've attacked the last weekend. Just going strong and trying to get us 3 points on the road.
Yeah, no, it should be a great game. Emma, we want to thank you for stopping by. Wish you all the best this weekend and throughout the rest of the season. And, of course, I hope that this won't be the last time we'll catch up with you, and I'm sure we'll have you back on the show again. So thanks for coming on.
All right. Thank you very much for having me, guys. Keep doing what you're doing.
All right. Thank you. Thanks so much. All right. That's Emmanuel Boateng joining us right here on Corner of the Galaxy. Such a great kid. Really loved talking to him. Actually, you know what? That interview could have easily gone another 10, 15 minutes. No problem. I guarantee that. So I'm sure we'll have him back on the show again. Thanks to the LA Galaxy, Chris Glidden PR, for helping me set that up. Always great to talk to the players. Always great to talk to somebody who's just MLS Player of the Week. Not too bad for the young kid. Expecting some good things out of him for the rest of the season. I think a lot of LA Galaxy fans are. All right, whenever I get back, Jared will be back. Lots more still to talk about. The game versus Kansas City coming up, your calls, everything else still to talk about. You're listening to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com. We'll be right back.
Recording from deep within Landon Donovan's secret Cambodian lair, it's Corner of the Galaxy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com. Josh and Jared with you one more time. We've rebooted the systems, we've kicked the tires, lit the fires. We are attempting to get the phone lines up and working so that way you can call in. I apologize that they haven't been working. Just add it as par for the course for this show so far. Jared, are you surviving over there at least? Do we at least have you back?
Well, the funny thing is, I have no idea anything is ever wrong in the first place.
It must be nice to live in your little world sometimes where you get to show up, you do the show, and then you get to go away, and you don't have to like do the producing.
You know,
and all that.
they have a two-word name for that.
Yes,
Josh, called the talent.
The talent. There's no disagreement there, Jared. Not
you
even
know,
a little bit.
There's people that sit in trailers and wait for people to say action, and there's the people that prep for to say the word action. I sir am a trailer. I live in a trailer park.
You live in a trailer park. I don't believe that for a second, but nonetheless, the show is.
Did you get my rider?
Yeah, I heard only green M&Ms. That's what I heard.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. Just wanted to make sure that was indeed the case. All right, so we get into the LA Galaxy news or the special announcements. I should announce, if you aren't listening to us or watching us on YouTube, we do our Thursday shows live. Sometimes you can even hear the audio. I mean, sometimes we even go all out and really just give you everything that you could possibly want here. You can go to cornerofthegalaxy.com/live. That's where you can find our live stream there. If you search for our channel on YouTube, you can find that there as well, although the first part of this...
How are you going to talk to Boateng for like 11, 12 minutes and not one Freddie Adu question?
just because you think he looks like Freddie Adu?
He's from Ghana.
Yeah, but still, I mean...
You should be like, so how many Freddie Adu posters did you have in your room growing up?
Freddie Adu, still selling vacuum cleaners. I mean, hey, he's making...
I wonder who's got more recognition in Ghana right now, Boateng or Freddie Adu?
It's got to be Boateng, right? Or do you think Freddie Adu? You think they see him and they're like, oh, it's Freddie Adu, and that's it?
They're like, oh, that guy that claims Ghana. Not gonna happen.
Not going to happen. All right, very good. I would like to point out as well, another special announcement for the show. We're doing our very first game preview show. So a live game preview show, again, a live streaming on YouTube. That'll be the only place it'll be because it's not going to be recorded as a podcast because the game preview show only works before the game. And being we're doing it an hour before the game, that's the only time it'll be good for. So you can go to cornerofthegalaxy.com/live. That game will be, or the preview show will be starting at 4 p.m. Kickoff for the LA Galaxy on Sunday versus Sporting Kansas City is at 5 p.m. So I invite you, if you're going out to the watch parties, to fire up your phones and listen to us for the first hour, and then we'll turn it over to Fox Sports as they get ready to preview the LA Galaxy versus Sporting Kansas City. So should be a lot of fun, and we'll see if I can get any of my co-hosts to come on. Otherwise, you guys will be stuck with me, and we'll be taking calls all the way through. So we'll see how that goes as well.
Going head to head against Clint Mathis.
Well, no, because it's Fox Sports on this one, so no Clint Mathis.
Oh,
It'll be Rob Stone or John Strong and Alexi Lalas and all those.
Oh,
guys.
we can take those guys.
We can. Okay, good. We can take those guys.
They got a redhead on their team. Come on.
That's absolutely the case. Yellow Van Dam. This is one of the things that comes down in LA Galaxy news. Yellow Van Dam is on yellow card warning. Not just in case you.
That guy was on yellow card warning on the plane to come to America.
Just like Nigel de Jong. Nigel de Jong already had a yellow card whenever he showed up. Yeah, he did, and he's on yellow card warning. And if you paid attention in the past to the good behavior incentive, everybody's like looks at me with their head cocked sideways whenever I talk about good behavior incentive. But in 2015 and the preceding years, it had been 3 games. So if you went 3 games without getting another yellow card, you'd have 1 rescinded. So if you go to 4, you have to play 3 games without a yellow card. Then it would come down to 3 yellow cards, and it only worked once. So if you got a 4th yellow card, you couldn't play 3 games again and get it rescinded again.
This is like this is the most complicated card game in Vegas.
Yeah, basically that's how it works. So anyway, now in 2016, the competition committee has changed that. It's no longer 3 games; it's 5 games. So you have to go. So listen, what I'm trying to tell you
is
no
way in hell.
There you go. He's never making it, right? It's like you might as well get ready to be without Yellow Van Dam for a game because that's just not going to happen.
The crazy thing is I can't even tell you who our backup center back is right now. Is it AJ De La Garza?
Yeah, probably. Or you could go with Dave Romney. You could Leonardo. Leonardo is a backup.
He's Jeff Laurentowicz.
Jeff Laurentowicz back there. You could do.
Oh, he was so bad in this game.
Really?
Oh, he was so off the pace. Granted, this is his first game of the season. He should be off the pace, but look how much space he gave. He reminded me of when guys get old in my leagues,
right?
And in my adult leagues, and you start playing against younger competition. What you see guys do is they always make the mistake of getting way too much space to the guy with the ball,
right?
Because they think, oh, I can't keep up with them. I'm not as fast as them, so I need to give them all the space. But what ends up happening is you're just giving the guy a running start at you.
Yes.
And then you can't turn quick enough, and he was giving so much space in front of him. I did not think he had a good game playing that center midfield role. You kind of see why Chicago Fire put him back in the back line. But don't get me wrong. I think he could be useful to the LA Galaxy in the exact type of duties that he was given in this game. I think he needs to get his legs beneath him and get some more game time. But, he is definitely not a starting option in my mind, at least not right now.
It is. It's one of those things. It is what it is, and you're right. Not a starting option, but if he's going to be a backup, and you're going to need him to come into games, then getting him some minutes in a game where you're already winning 4-1 and eventually win 5-2, that's the time to do it. That's when you want to do it anyway. So I'm fine with it, and let's just see what you can get out of him. Quite honestly, if he's healthy and playing Jeff Laurentowicz style, Jared, I'm pretty sure that he
more
could
yellow cards.
What more yellow cards? He could probably start on a lot of teams.
No, I think he and Charlie Joseph are one of the best 1-2 combos in center midfield MLS has ever seen. And I think he's an absolute leader. I think he's the type of guy that is going to lead in that locker room, right? Whether he's playing, whether he's on the bench. He's a born leader, and he's shown that in MLS over the course of his career. I just don't know what his role is in the team, and I don't know if anyone knows it, to be honest with you, until he gets out there a little bit more. He's played center back for the last 2 or 3 years right now. I mean, it's really going to be interesting to see how he fits into the plans of this team. Kind of reminds me when Pablo Mastroeni was brought in to the Galaxy at the very end of his career, and it was just like, what is he? What's his role? How many minutes? Not quite sure, but Bruce Arena likes having these guys there just in case.
Well, remember, he was a free agent pickup. He wanted to come to the LA Galaxy. Maybe he's chasing a title before he retires, and he's willing to.
God knows he didn't get any in New England.
that's for sure. And so he maybe that's what he's looking for here at the end of his career, which is great. I mean, I have no problems with it, especially.
You got Matt Reese here as well as the goalkeeper coach. I mean, this will be the chance for both of them to get a ring.
It absolutely will. So, no issues with him. But yeah, Yellow Van Dam, expect to be without him in the next 5 games. All right, that's just sort of how it is. We already talked about Emmanuel Boateng being named MLS Player of the Week. Mentioned it.
Do you want to put a bet? You want to make a bet?
Okay. Yes.
How many games will Yellow Van Dam go without a yellow card now that he's on the warning?
I think 0. I think he gets one in KC.
I think he can make one.
Okay.
I think he can make one, dude.
Okay. All right. What are we betting?
I have to take a picture with your boat shoes on.
Okay. And what do I have to do?
You have to throw them in the trash. No,
I like I'm wearing them right now, dude. Don't hate my boat shoes.
You have to get a sound clip of your fiance saying how much she loves Jared.
Okay, I can do that. That's easy.
Okay.
She likes you.
I mean,
she likes you best
Jay,
anyway.
It won't be hard.
Yeah, I was going to say, she likes you better anyway, so that's not even hard. All right, so there's the bet. 0 for me, 1 for Jared. If it's outside of either of those, then we're just, it's a push.
I win. Price is Right rules, dude.
The Price is Right rules would be don't... let's see. No,
that
doesn't...
Carey
No.
to get on this show and make a decision.
No, that's no ruling. That's going to happen anyway. It'll push outside of 0 or 1. That's how it works. All right. MLS power rankings, not that I care about these. I just think it's interesting to see where the LA Galaxy were. And then where they've ended up, in a lot of previous rankings, they were in 6th and 7th, and maybe even somewhere in 4th. SI.com pushed them all the way up to 1st after beating both Houston and Real Salt Lake. ESPN FC pushed them to 3rd, which I think is probably better. I wouldn't put them above Dallas right now. MLSsoccer.com has them at 3rd as well, so you can sort of understand where the LA Galaxy are. But are the Galaxy the hottest team in Major League Soccer right now, Jared?
For sure. Yeah. The goal differential alone is ridiculous, plus 10 at this point.
Yeah.
But I get why there's hesitation. I mean, they did not look good in a couple of games this season as well. So MLS has always been a streaky league full of streaky teams. I think there is some question about injuries and how guys are going to come back. I think they're definitely the hottest team. They're probably the one that is going to get most attention going over the next couple of weeks, and rightly so. But I would hold back in terms of, I think those other teams are more consistent right now. And I think it's their position to lose, or the Galaxy's to take from them.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to sort of see, how it plays out and what happens in KC. I mean, realistically, we're going to start looking at this game. Sporting Kansas City usually plays really well at home. They have not been getting results. Granted, they kind of got jobbed by refereeing in San Jose. Definitely a penalty kick that should have been called that at least should have brought that game to a draw.
Can you just go can you go a week without talking about refereeing?
No, you can't in MLS right now. If there's not bad calls, then what else? I guess I won't talk about them.
They're bad for everybody.
Are they bad for everybody though? Does Orlando think they're bad for everybody?
If people have never watched a game with Josh Gassman, you need to have every listener you have rotate through your seats, and you need to sit a game with Josh Gassman, because he never sees a call not in Galaxy's favor.
I think you have not sat next to me in a very... I am much more mellow now.
You have to be. You're in the press box now. You can't root and be out loud.
Yeah, but I've
seen you in your element, sir.
It's not like internally I'm screaming anymore. Internally, I'm
the
calm.
College roommate that when you run for president has all your dirty secrets about all the things you did back in the day.
This is true. I used to... Well, that's one of the reasons I love my seat, was because it was directly even with the near side AR, and I could scream at him and knew he would hear me.
That is true. That is actually factually correct. Yeah. Josh Gassman would scream at the linesman as if he actually was going to have an effect on the game.
When I go down to my seats now, because Corey had the seats, Corey Ritzow, co-host here on Corner of the Galaxy, whenever I go down to my seats, they miss me. They're like, oh man, you should come back and sit in your seats. Although I'm sure they say that, and then as soon as I'm gone, they're like, I'm glad that loudmouth is gone.
Yeah, but no one has cards anymore.
Nobody has yellow and red cards anymore. That is true. I still have a set of yellow and red cards in my office here from the original yellow and red cards that I made to pass out to my section. So
you did. I was there. I saw that.
So we can have that happen. So anyway, let's get to the LA Galaxy schedule. Something I just want to, I always like to give everybody an idea of what's coming down the road.
But real quick, who would you rank number one power ranking in the league right now?
I think it's Dallas still. Until they do something, granted, they've played 9 games now and are 1.89 points per game. They've slowed just a little bit for me. But until you can sort of see them completely falter, I don't know that you can really look at them and say, hey, that doesn't work. But if you look at Colorado at 2 points per game, LA Galaxy at 2 points per game, RSL is 2 points per game, but clearly with the defeated LA Galaxy, you're not going to.
I'm going to go a different direction.
Yeah,
okay?
where do you think?
And I feel kind of dirty saying this, and it's kind of tough. It's a tough thing to make the case for after last night, but I'm going to go Montreal Impact. I think they've looked really good this season, man. And without Drogba, and then with Drogba, they've looked even better. And
yeah, but they lost to
Piatti
Toronto.
is playing so well this season.
But they lost to Toronto, right? They lost to Toronto, and then they drew last night. Everybody drew last night. It was 1-1s across the entire 3 games that MLS played midweek, including Sporting Kansas City drew with Vancouver.
No, you're absolutely correct. They drew on the road, though.
Right.
So it wasn't a home game.
Right.
But I still, man, I've liked what I've seen from them. Don't get me wrong. Dallas probably still plays the best ball.
Right.
Consistently, and what they do with the talent that they have and the youth that they have is amazing. And I think LA is right in there in that 3rd spot. I think most of the rankers got it right with Galaxy being 3rd. But for me, I for some reason, I kind of want to go Montreal, and I feel dirty about it.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I mean, here's the problem. If you look at the Supporters Shield standings and where everybody sort of stands, and granted, that's on points, and there's unequal games already. We're already into that, massive disaster of how many games everybody's played and everything that goes on there. But if you look at it, the Western Conference is totally dominating Supporters Shield right now. And so it's hard for me to pick anybody from the Eastern Conference knowing that they've all failed to sort of do something. Philadelphia, Montreal at 6th in the Supporters Shield is the first Eastern Conference team. Philadelphia at 8th. All right, so there's all these things that are sort of working against the Eastern Conference that,
In fairness, a few teams in the West have played 9 games.
Absolutely. And again, you look at that and I don't like it when teams get out more than 2 games in front of everybody else. It really throws everything. So again, if you're looking at standings, look at points per game. That will be your best sort of gauge of where everybody's at. And currently the top right now, Colorado, LA Galaxy, Real Salt Lake, all with 2 points per game.
Yeah, Colorado, I really want to buy in on Colorado, but I think I want to see a little more consistency there. I think Montreal started showing elements of this last season. I think they're just continuing what they were doing last year. Colorado, this is right out the box. This is kind of a surprise, to be honest with you. So I want to see if they can do it consistently or not.
Colorado and Philadelphia are the 2 biggest surprises in terms of...
Oh, my God. CJ Sapong has been the biggest surprise of the season so far.
Absolutely for Philadelphia. Just Philly's been playing great. It's fun to watch. So that's good. I hope that they can... I want Philadelphia to do well over there in the Eastern Conference. I like some of those teams over there, and I feel like they've been underachieving. Philadelphia, definitely one of those.
Don't you want them to sign Sonny, though, from what is he at KC right now? So it would be like always sunny in Philadelphia.
Just for that reason, just for that joke, you want
to? Yes,
of
course, for that joke.
Just wanted to make sure.
I live for that joke.
Okay, I understand. Let's go over the schedule just real quick. I just want you guys to keep an idea of what's going on. Sporting Kansas City on Sunday. Next Sunday, the following Sunday on May 8th, that's Mother's Day. The LA Galaxy doing a special Mother's Day luncheon. If you want to go ahead and look at it, lagalaxy.com to find that stuff. Sunday, May 8th, 12:30 p.m. Not making it easy, but it's a nationally broadcast ESPN game, which is why it's at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. All right, that's against New England. Then they travel away, first midweek game for the LA Galaxy in Philadelphia. We've told you about the Angel City Brigade trip that is going for that game. So Wednesday, May 11th, 4 p.m. Pacific time, that game. Sunday, May 22nd, back home to San Jose. Montreal away, one of the longest trips in professional sports in the United States. LA to Montreal takes like 8 hours to fly there. Swear to God, it's ridiculous.
It's worth it for the Arcade Fire shows.
Absolutely. 5 p.m. Kickoff there on Saturday, May 28th. Thursday, June 2nd, another midweek game again, home to Sporting KC. So keep that one on your calendars. That one will be fun to get to in traffic. Thursday, the busiest day. And then you have Saturday, June 18th, right? So there's a little break in there from June 2nd to June 18th. Saturday, June 18th against Toronto at BMO Field. So BMO Field will be open. The LA Galaxy will be playing there in the renovated BMO Field against Toronto, June 18th. That's sort of where everything plays down. We'll skip over the conference. We'll skip over the Supporters Shield because we've kind of already talked about it. Start looking to Kansas City here, Jared, because we have about 7 minutes left before we should probably get out of here. So I know, it flies by. 7 minutes?
I don't got that much to talk about.
Oh, okay. Well, don't worry. There's injuries to talk about, and there's other things, and then we have to end the show. There's lots of stuff to talk about.
Speaking of, okay, not necessarily injuries, but just absent from the team.
Yes.
What does Jose Villarreal got to do to make a bench in this league?
Lots of people asking that question.
I mean, he's playing with those does.
He is, and he's playing well. He scored a goal in their last game, I believe.
At this point, his brother's going to lap him.
Listen, the big deal with Jose Villarreal was he was injured again at the beginning of the season. I think, granted, you've seen so many injuries from Jose Villarreal that I think Bruce might be a little cautious with bringing him back up to MLS because he's afraid he's going to break him again. And you can't blame Bruce for that. If you are, you haven't seen what's happened every time he comes up to MLS and he gets injured and then he's out for, a month or 2 months.
So at some point, he's not the right guy to have.
That's true. And maybe we've learned that lesson. I mean, quite honestly, but I get what he brings to the LA Galaxy. I've never been his biggest supporter, but I see how he plays. He's able to score off of set pieces. He plays with a smoothness and a control that is enviable in Major League Soccer. Quite honestly, he can do that. He's smaller, though, and he gets bumped around a lot, and whenever he gets bumped around, he gets injured, and that's the biggest problem with Jose Villarreal for me.
What do you make of the Dan Kennedy's back? Who should start, Brian Rowe or Dan Kennedy?
It's not even a contest for me, and the answer is Brian Rowe.
I agree. I didn't think they needed Dan Kennedy in the first place, to be honest with you. I thought they didn't need Donovan Ricketts last year.
Yeah.
I think Brian Rowe earned that job last season, and it's like no one was looking.
He could have. He very well could have. I like the Kennedy pickup, but I'll be honest.
I love myself some Dan Kennedy. He's a starter in this league for sure, but for the cost that Brian Rowe is at,
right,
and for the fact you already know what he is, and you've seen him play with your defense, I had no issue last year. He should have finished the season. He was doing a fantastic job. They didn't need Donovan Ricketts. I don't think they need Dan Kennedy this year, despite the fact I like Dan Kennedy. He is amazing to look at.
Yes, I know.
But Brian Rowe has consistently been good, whether he was the backup or even now as the starter. It's his job.
He has been very good, and can't.
It's UCLA.
Yeah, I can't take that away from him, Jared. I'm certainly not going to do it. Hey, real quick Twitter question from Oliver Sacks. Olivero Sacks, apparently.
Oh man, I was kind of stoked on the fact that there was a guy named Oliver.
Well, it could be Oliver O. Sacks. I don't know. I can't do this. But all he asks,
all over your sack?
Yes, exactly. Is goal differential a reliable measuring stick, and why? Or why not?
I think over the course of a season it is, yeah. I don't think it's the number one thing to rank a team by, but it's definitely a huge part. I mean, it tells you a lot about a team.
Right.
I mean, a goal differential of 1 or 2 doesn't tell you much about a team.
No.
A goal differential of plus 10 or minus 10, or over the course of the season, plus 20, minus 20,
it means
that
something.
tells you something about a team.
Yeah, but whenever you see the plus 1s or plus 2s, that's where you can start getting way off because maybe they score a lot of goals, but they give up, like a Houston, right? Score a lot of goals, give up a ton of goals. Although Houston hasn't been scoring a lot of goals lately. So, that's where the goal differential
it doesn't tell you
crazy.
anything in a vacuum by itself.
No, but whenever you look at a good team and then you see their goal differential, it tells you how dominant they can be. You also have to look at goals for, goals against, because you want to look at that goals against number as being a lot lower, and then obviously the goal differential being a lot higher. It matters if they score like a zillion goals, but they also give up their fair amount compared to the rest of the league as well.
Even a huge goal number, positive or negative, doesn't mean anything by itself in a vacuum. You have to have a number of games played next to it to really understand. If they're plus 5 or plus 10 and it's only one game played, they just had a really good game. Or a really poor game.
All right.
You've got to have other numbers with it to really make sense of it.
Thanks for the tweet. We appreciate it. Tweet to us with the hashtag
That being said,
COG
Galaxy's
Live.
rocking with their plus 10.
Plus 10, best in the league right now. Really doing well with that. So we'll keep watching how that
I don't
plays
know
out.
this year. Is that the first tiebreaker this year? Or is it
it's
goals
not.
scored?
Wins is the first tiebreaker. I just looked it up.
It changes like every season.
I know. Goal differential, it used to be goal differential, now it's wins. But if you think about wins,
but one year it was goals, wasn't it? Just straight goals?
Wasn't it away goals at one point? How many goals you scored on the road? I swear to God, that was one.
It's like this is the one thing that gets tinkered with more than anything else, and it bothers the crap out of me.
I like the wins, and the reason I like the wins is because that's what you're supposed to do in this game, is win games. So I don't have a huge issue with it. It's hard to argue against it.
I get where the league is going with goal differential and goals, though, because they want entice teams to play attractively.
They do. And I understand it. So that's what your first tiebreaker is. If teams end up tied at the end of the season, how they could figure out who's ahead of who.
It should be Twitter followers of the official team account.
Obviously, that should definitely be it. Injuries real quick for the LA Galaxy. Robbie Keane back to full training. Bruce seems to think he's going to wait another week before playing him. Sebastian Lletget with his groin is training, probably limited. I don't know that he's going to be back for this. And then we have Alan Gordon with an unknown injury, at least unknown to me. I'm not 100% sure what Alan Gordon's particular ailment is, but he's out. Everybody else is basically back and ready to go. That includes Robbie Rogers, Jose Villarreal, Raul Mendiola, Leonardo, and Dan Kennedy. All right, they're all
Yeah, the
basically
Mendiola
ready.
one. I think a lot of fans don't know a lot about Mendiola. He could be a really good player long term for LA Galaxy, but that ACL is a tough one to come back from.
Yeah, it is. But I think he's been getting some time with LA Galaxy too. I'd have to look it back up, but he was getting ready to get time last time I looked. So it was one of those.
A really tidy player. I like how he plays on the ball.
All right, we get to LA Galaxy versus Sporting Kansas City. This game, Sunday, May 1st, 2016 at 5 p.m. Pacific. This game can be found on Fox Sports 1. Again, we're going to do our preview show starting at 4 p.m., cornerofthegalaxy.com/live. The audio might even work, which might be fun. We'll take your calls, lead you all the way up to kickoff at 5 p.m., although the kickoff will be later than 5 p.m., but we'll drop you off at 5 p.m. so that way you can pick up the coverage there. If you're going to any watch parties, do us a favor and share with all of your friends. All sit around the phone and listen to me or any of our co-hosts who might be able to join us. Jared might be there. Wendy might be there. Actually, I don't think Wendy can be there. Maybe Wendy can. I can't remember. It was one of those. And maybe Corey, we might have all those guys stop by whenever it happens. So that way we can talk some LA Galaxy soccer leading off to kickoff. So again, 5 p.m. is kickoff. 4 p.m. is when our preview show starts. The LA Galaxy going against number 6 Sporting Kansas City. Their last game was a Wednesday game, a 1-1 draw, and the game before that was a 1-0 loss at San Jose. They're 13 points, 4-4-1 with 9 games played. The LA Galaxy's last game obviously was the 5-2 win over Real Salt Lake. 14 points, 4-1-2 on the season, 7 games played. All right, so 2-game differential there. Sporting Kansas City is 1 point behind the LA Galaxy right now. Big deal for their midweek game, Jared, is that Sporting KC sat some of their for sure starters in order to give some other guys a run out. Most of those guys ended up playing, talking about guys like Brad Davis and Dom Dwyer and Graham Zusi all came into this game in the second half, their Wednesday game, and got some playing time. But the goal that was scored by Diego
RJ
Rubio.
Allen?
Yeah, not RJ Allen, no. Diego Rubio. Brand new to the league, his first goal for for Major League Soccer or for Sporting Kansas City. He's one of their young designated players. I believe he's from Chile. So it's kind of exciting to see whether or not he'll play again. Most likely you're going to see Dom Dwyer, see Graham Zusi. You'll see Brad Davis up on that front line. So expect that from Sporting Kansas City and a very good team who has not had very good results lately.
Kansas City is, I think they're posed to make a move, though. I think that they're going to improve as this goes on. They started the season without Matt Beasler due to concussion. As he rounds into shape, I think that's going to make a difference in their back line. Obviously, Benny Fowler, for me, probably still one of the top 3 creative midfielders in the league. He's Roger Espinoza with him backing him up. Obviously, that's one of the better tandems in the league as well. Excuse me.
Yep.
Where I question Kansas City is on the flanks.
Right.
I'm not sure what they're going to get out of their wide players over the course of the season. They're playing a 4-3-3, so they're really counting on their wing backs to really kind of get into it, Abdul Salam and Dia. But I don't know that those are the guys to run that system and establish consistent width for them. They bring in Brad Davis for that as well, but in a 4-3-3, you're not going to get him in that position as much as you would like.
Yeah, and that's where you're going to see the matchup. Now, granted, RSL played in a 4-3-3, came into StubHub Center and got stomped. Here is another 4-3-3 team going up against Bruce Arena in the 4-4-2. No matter how they put that lineup out there, it's always a 4-4-2. If you learn nothing about Bruce Arena, no matter how it goes out there, it's always a 4-4-2. All right, there you go.
What I don't get too is that Vermees keeps doing this thing this season where Brad Davis plays on the right.
Right.
I don't get that.
It's the cut in left foot.
I get that, but that's never been Brad Davis's game.
Yeah.
That's like sending Alan Gordon in there and telling him, hey, play the 10.
Yeah, it's not something you would do. I get it. No.
Davis is a specialist, and as he gets older, he's going to become even more of a specialist. I don't think he can reinvent his game at this point. And if he does, if you bought him for this, I don't know that I don't know. Listen, Peter Vermees gets most of his stuff right. I don't get this one, though. I don't get this one at all. How you change that player, because that trick will work the rest of his career.
Right. Now,
maybe he's questioning whether or not he has the speed to get him into the positions to service that left foot cross. But man, I don't know that an in-swinger from the right is nearly as valuable as an out-swinger from the left.
Yeah, it's interesting. I will tell you one thing, that it looks like Sporting Kansas City gives up, or at least so far this season has given up 1.2 goals per game. And scores 1.2 goals per game, while the LA Galaxy on the road actually have a 0.7 goals per game on the conceding side. So they don't concede a lot on the road so far. Granted, the LA Galaxy have only played 2 road games, and they only allowed 1 goal, so you can sort of understand how that works. Excuse me, 3 road games. Yeah, that's right. 3 road games and 2 goals on the road. So you can see how that works. But they've also scored 1.3 goals per game on the road. So early in the season for these things to make any sense, but it just sort of shows a trend that I think is positive for the LA Galaxy if you're thinking about it. The Galaxy.
I don't know if you've been covering this enough on your other shows or not, but the thing no one's talking about this season, and it's starting to piss me off, is how good Daniel Steres has been.
Daniel Steres has been great.
He's been one of the better center backs in this entire league, and no one's talking about it.
We had Daniel Steres on the show last week. He came on and called into the show, so we did get to talk to him. I agree. He's made a couple rookie mistakes. He got the penalty kick called against him in RSL, which was, listen, don't grab the guy, whether or not it was a foul or not. Don't grab the guy. Don't give anybody the option to do
definitely.
it.
But I'm
been
not
good.
going to judge him just on 2. I think he's had 2 lapses this season, and they've both
Colorado,
bit LA.
Yep, Colorado and
but
the
over
PK.
the course of 7 games, I mean,
He's been
2
good.
small hiccups like that. Well, not necessarily that small, but I think that all the minutes in between have been quality.
Yeah, they have been good, and I think it's hard to get him out of the starting lineup. I've said it, and it was an argument that I think we had on a corner of the Galaxy from the box is who gets benched once Robbie Rogers comes back and is healthy. Well, we may find out the answer to that coming up against Casey. And that's a ridiculous statement, by the way.
No, but here's why, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Yes,
because AJ De La Garza doesn't give you as much going forward as Robbie Rogers does.
Yeah, but
He's
Robbie,
the better defender.
Yes, but AJ De La Garza.
But if you look what Bruce Arena wants,
no,
he wants that overlap run into the offense.
I will take AJ making overlap runs and getting a little less on offense and being better on defense than having Robbie Rogers.
You and I will, but Bruce isn't.
No, I'm not. I don't believe that for a second. AJ De La Garza is the second best defender on the team. All right, because I say Ashley Cole's the first. And if it wasn't for Ashley Cole, AJ would be the best defender on the team. He's the best at anticipation.
I don't know, man. I didn't think he looked as good this game as he has in years past. But then again, he's also getting a late start to the season.
A little bit of late start, but I trust AJ implicitly.
Oh, me too. You know, I've said for a long time, I think he's one of the best positional defenders in this entire league.
Listen, you wouldn't be alone, by the way, to say that AJ De La Garza. Lots of people have been telling me that. I'm just telling everybody that they're crazy if they think that. I can't.
I don't know if he's gonna be this way the whole season, but I'm just saying he got a late start, so you're gonna give him some slack. He was a little bit. He should have had a body on Burrito in that on that cross in that game. I'll say that.
He
Burrito
had
got
his
lucky.
body.
That thing just caromed off the back of his head.
Listen. He had a body on him. AJ's just short.
He didn't touch him.
No. Well, yeah, he was touching him. He was right there.
Oh, go look at it again, dude. There was space between them.
All right, I'll look at it again. But anyway, listen, AJ's going to get out jumped. That's the problem with having him in the center or on the outside. So listen, that's another argument. Again, Sporting Kansas City. We're pretty much done with the show. Sporting Kansas City. May 1st, 5 p.m. Pacific, we will have our preview show at 4 p.m. right here, cornerofthegalaxy.com/live to find our live stream there. Please watch it on Fox Sports 1. Should be a very interesting game for the LA Galaxy, another test to see what it is. And, of course, we have our bet going on with Yellow Van Dam and whether or not he gets a yellow card in that game or not. It'll be, I don't know how you tame the beast sometimes, all right?
He's going to be on good behavior. I mean, if he could just sew that up and learn how to pass the ball, he'd be a complete defender.
Jeff Kazar said that Yellow Van Dam was one of the reasons Real Salt Lake lost this game was because of his distribution.
They couldn't
from the
capitalize on his passes they gave him?
Apparently not, but his distribution from the back. That's literally what Jeff Kazar said.
Oh, he is so trolling.
I'm just telling you what he said.
He is trolling.
Tell people
Yellow Van Dam has given away. I would love to see a statistic on center backs and how many balls have been given away this season. Anytime he runs forward 10 yards and is forward to make a pass, it's a bad pass. If he stays in his position and passes, he seems fine.
Right.
But when he advances 10 to 20 yards off that back line, his percentage goes way down. I guarantee it. I have no facts to back that up other than my eyeballs, but there's nerds out there that can give me the stats, and I bet you they back me up.
All right, well, we'll have to see. Tell people where they can find you. Let's get out of here.
You can get me on Twitter at JRodius, JRODIUS. And also, the best soccer show is finally closing out. We're going to have one last big blowout show. Date to be determined. Follow me, J Rodius. Follow my boy Davis JSN. Find out when our last Best Soccer Show extravaganza will be hitting the air.
All right, there you go. Make sure you pay attention to that. And of course, if you're looking for me on Twitter, it's at Jay Guessman, JGUESMAN. All right, that's where you can find me most of the time. And of course, go to Corner of the Galaxy at Galaxy Podcast on Twitter in order to find it, and cornerofthegalaxy.com. We had a great show. Thank you to Emo Boateng, thank you to LA Galaxy for making him available as well. Sorry about the audio issues on the YouTube live stream. We'll work those out, get those fixed. Also get the Skype issues fixed as well. We're working hard over here for you guys. I hope you guys are appreciating it. Let's see. For Jared Dubois, I'm Josh Gesseman, and you've been listening to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com. Have a great one.
You've been listening to the Corner of the Galaxy podcast on cornerofthegalaxy.com. You can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Galaxy Podcast, and be sure to check out and subscribe to iTunes, Stitcher, and Facebook by searching for Corner of the Galaxy. And for all of your independent LA Galaxy news, discussion, and entertainment, including this podcast, head on over to cornerofthegalaxy.com. Fans, thanks for listening. We ask that you be kind and courteous to your neighbors as you leave the podcast. We thank you for joining us and look forward to seeing you again. Until then, I'm Michael Araujo, and on behalf of the entire Corner of the Galaxy crew, goodbye, everybody.